Whoa, how'd you get that? Well, guess what? You're in luck because today I show you how you can start from a fresh copy of Windows all the way to this cool desktop. So, if you want to get that on your PC, then I suggest you watch the whole video, because we troubleshoot some potential bugs that may arise when following these steps. So, without further ado, let's get into the customization. Hey guys, this is Technetic, where I show you how you can mod your tech and video games. You can get started on that by subscribing, so you never miss a video. Alright guys, before we actually get into the customization, I just want you guys to read the disclaimer that I've put in the description, so you know what you're doing. So, once you get that read, then you just want to go to your Windows search. If you don't have this, you can just right click on the taskbar, search and select search box, or you can just press the Windows key and start typing. So you want to type in create system restore point. So you see it'll show up as a control panel applet. So you just want to hit open. Then as you can see, you'll get this window where you can actually manage all your system restore points. So it's pretty easy to create one. All you really need to do is just hit this create button. Click on it and just give it a nice description that will remind you. So for instance, in this scenario, I'd put in before customizing PC with Technetic tutorial. For your scenario, you could just name this anything you want, but this is the first thing that popped in my head, so I'll stick with this. So you just hit create. So this does take a little bit of time, well, 1 to 2 minutes. Once it's done, you'll get like a OK pop-up. Just hit dismiss or whatever, and you can successfully close out system properties. So now that we got our system restore point created, now we can actually start downloading our necessary files. Alright guys, after we created our system restore point, you want to head over to the description and click a link which will direct you to this Google Drive directory. So from here, what you want to do is just right click on this folder and hit download. I'll explain what each of these items do later, but for now it's important that we get everything downloaded. The next thing we want to download is the patcher, which will let us apply our theme. So you just want to open a new tab and type in Secure UX Patcher. It should be the first link in your search browser, which directs you to github.com. If not, keep scrolling and you'll find it. Be sure to not confuse this with Ultra UX Theme Patcher. For this tutorial, we're not going to use this one, and it's just going to be called Secure UX Theme. So just click on that. And as you can see, we see a releases section. So you just want to click on release 2.1.2 or whatever the latest version for you is. And you can see this exe file right here. So for me, it's going to be called themetool.exe, and probably so will yours. So you just want to click on theme tool. Sometimes it takes a second click. And as you can see, this gets downloaded as well as this, because we can see the zip for this has been created as well. The next thing that we want to download is an app called Rainmeter. Some of you might be familiar with it, watching some other tutorials, or even mine about my original video about skinning it, like a basic skin. So if you're already familiar and have Rainmeter set up, you can always skip with the thumbnails I have in the description, so you can not get bored and just navigate through the necessary parts for you. But if you don't have Rainmeter installed, then stay with me. You just want to open a new tab and just type in Rainmeter and then just add a .net. Then we get greeted with this web page. You want to click on the final release, but if you're feeling a little risky and want to go for the beta release, you can download the beta. In my opinion, it can get a little hectic, especially with the new updates, and the fact that it's also really unstable and can cause some problems. So my recommendation is that you go for the final release. But Again, it's your preference. So for this video, I'm going to go with the final release. And as you can see, we have that installed. So now we have all our necessary files, and now we can get into setting them up, the basic parts at least. The next thing that we want to do is open our File Explorer. You should have this icon, but if you don't have it pinned, just use the methods that I explained earlier and just search File Explorer and it'll show up. So just click on it and you'll be greeted with this. So for you, you'll probably have it saved in your downloads, but if not, just navigate to that directory you have it saved at. So as you can see, we have these three necessary files. The first one that we want to use is Rainmeter and set that up. Since it's the most simple to set up, I suggest we start with that. So you just double click on this installer and you'll be greeted with this dialog. So I suggest you click on standard installation, but if you feel a little risky and you know for a fact that you have some libraries installed like Visual C++ and .NET, then be sure to go ahead. You can tell if you have these installed is by go to your Windows key search, type in apps, and you can see you have the add or remove programs. Here I don't have much installed, but for you it'll have like some drivers or packages you have installed. So if you see these specific drivers, then you're all good. But keep in mind that it does not create the RM skin extension. This depending on the type of user you are, this might be important for you. But for us, we just want to go with the standard installation. So make sure you have that selected and hit next. So for me, it's saving this directly on my boot drive. Unless you have two different drives, one for your boot and one for your files, then you can change this accordingly. But for me, I'm sticking with saving it on my boot drive. You also want to launch Rainmeter on startup because this is a big key that plays. So you want to click on install. You'll be greeted with this user account control page unless you have your permissions changed, saying that they want Rainmeter to make changes to your device by a verified publisher known as Firebit OU. If this verified publisher doesn't show up, your installation may be compromised and I suggest you try again. But if your verified publisher shows up as Firebit OU, then you're all set to go and you can hit yes. And as you can see, it's installing a Rainmeter for me. And you want to run Rainmeter on startup. So you can hit finish. For you guys, I've previously had Rainmeter installed before, so I have it hidden by default. But by default, you might have some widgets that show up on your screen. Just since I already have them, I'm just going to put one here and I'm going to show you how you can hide one. For instance, I have this clock widget that shows up. To actually hide this, you just want to control click or right click and you'll be greeted with a different dialog rather than the standard right click. So make sure that your mouse is right clicked on this specific widget and you want to hit unload skin. You notice that it also gets rid of it. And if you always want to put it back, you can go over to Rainmeter and just hit load and it'll put it back. But we don't want any of these skins because we have some of our own which will look really cool. So now we have Rainmeter installed. The next thing that we want to set up is this theme tool. Just double click on it. Oh wait, no, never mind. Just just hit no. I accidentally clicked on it. I just remembered you want to run this as admin. So you just want to click on it, right click, and just hit run as administrator. Because since it needs to download some libraries, it won't be able to make changes. So be sure to run this as admin. Once again, you'll be greeted with this user account control page. Since on GitHub it says specifically that the owner hasn't signed, it should say something like the publisher is unknown. If you're watching this in the near future, it may say something like there is a verified publisher. But to make sure you're downloading the genuine version, be sure to go back to that GitHub page and verify that developer. but as of recording this video, it is showing up as an unknown publisher. So, for now, if you're like me and have unknown publisher, or if you're watching this in the near future and you know for a fact that this developer is legitimate, then feel free to hit yes. So, it's asking you if you've read the license text. You don't really have to read it. It's probably something about like the usage scenarios. If you're in a commercial environment and you want to know more about it, then you can hit no and you'll get this license page. But for me, I'm just going to be using this as personal use, so I can always just hit yes. As you can see, we have this patcher tool window show up. So, as you can see in our installation page, we have these 4 checkboxes and these install buttons. Note that if you try to run this as a non-admin without elevated privileges, it'll get an error saying not running as admin. So, that's a crucial part. Unless you want to just mess with these, I suggest you just leave it how it is and hit install. It's pretty short, and then you'll get this success message. To actually apply the patcher themes, it's going to want you to restart your computer. If you have some important tasks running in the background, you can always just reboot it later. But I don't really have anything going on, so I'm going to reboot it now, and I'll pause the video, and I'll be back after I have my PC rebooted. Alright guys, so now I literally just finished restarting my PC. So, good news, we got most of the installation out of the way. So, now we can start applying some of the helper files that we have. If we head over to our file explorer, you can see that we earlier that we downloaded a Make Your Computer Aesthetic, the assets catalog. So, what I want you to use is use your preferred zip extractor and just extract it into a new folder. Some of you might be using 7-zip, WinRAR, or even some of the built-in extractors. So, since I said in the title that I want to give it a new look, I want this to work for most of the people. So, I'm just going to use the built-in extractor and say extract all. I'm just going to leave this how it is. Personally, I don't like cluttered numbers, so I'm just going to leave that deleted and just hit extract. And you can see it'll start copying. Like I said earlier, we may get some errors along the way, so I suggest you stick around for this part, because this is one of the crucial parts that may cause some slip-ups later on. Our first one, the name is too long. Just for now, we'll skip these, and whenever we need to, we can just... Here, just ignore the styles. If you get one for styles or shell, just ignore that, because we have a special way to get there. So, just skip everything that you get an error for. So, now we have this extracted, and I guess we can just minimize this for now. So, with this, we want to open another File Explorer window and fix that part where we don't get access to our themes. Well, if we can't access them through this, well, I guess we could just drag and drop them into System32. Easy enough. So, with this new File Explorer window, just navigate to your C drive, Windows, and hit Resources, as you can see here. Use Themes, and you get this window. I don't know what this is doing here. Delete. I'm just going to delete that. So, with our existing File Explorer window, extract it. No, not extract it, just open it. Go to Patcher and Theme. You see a Big Sur Windows theme. So, as you can see from the title, it kind of gives the buttons a macOS Big Sur loadout, so as I showed in the title. But if you think that's lame and you actually want to try run macOS Big Sur on your PC, well, guess what? I have a video on it, and I'll have a card showing you how to. If you don't get the card, I'll also have a link in the description, so you can check that out. Moving on. So, you just want to click onto this Big Sur Windows theme icon patch. Then, go to Windows 10 themes. As you can see, everything that's in here was not able to be ported over. So from here, just click on thin taskbar, and you see we have this Big Sur 2 thingamajig, this whole library. So just select all of them, copy it by doing Control C, or just right clicking and hit copy, and go over here in your resources page and hit paste. And it's going to ask for administrator permission. To save time, since there's a lot of files, just click on do this for all current items and hit continue. So, as you should see, we have our Big Sur 2 window, especially with all our themes. The next thing that we want to do is, you know how early on I mentioned that we had unique Rainmeter skins of our own? But you must be wondering how we're going to get them. I know I promised that we won't be doing any more installation, and I'm not wrong about that. In fact, you already have it installed already. To get there, you just want to go back here, just go back and go to make your computer aesthetic. And you see here. Well, I guess it's pretty obvious because the folder's named Rainmeter skins. So you just want to click into that and just copy everything except Bird's GIF. I was playing around with that and it caused some errors because I guess it's in beta testing. But if you want to take the risk, then port over Bird's GIF as well. But I'm not willing to take that risk. So I'm just going to copy these three, right click, hit copy, go here. But you don't want to do it in themes. We want to go over to documents, and you'll see there is a pre-created Rainmeter section for us. So just click in a Rainmeter, then skins, and just paste it. And as you can see, now we have our skins. We had actually proved that it's actually ported into Rainmeter if we click on this toolbar, go to Rainmeter, and refresh all. Now you can see all our folders with their corresponding desktop widgets are there. But we're not going to do that yet because there is still more to go. The next thing that we want to do is use this theme tool. Again, be sure to run this as administrator and accept it, and just use the same guidelines that I talked about before. Well, just click on yes already, doesn't matter. And as you can see, we have our Big Sur loadouts. So in this scenario, I want to stick with night, but for the sake of you guys, I'm just going to show you what everything looks like. So you want to go to night, and over here there are some specifications. I'll show you what happens, but just I'm going to warn you about the cursor. It does not actually give you the Mac cursor. It just gives you like this jarbled up like rip off, but you can go with that, and after all, that's your preference. So for night, I'm going to show you what night looks like first. So you want that selected. I guess it doesn't matter if you leave all of these the way it is, and just hit patch and apply. You'll get this please wait blue or whatever color dialog you get. And as you can see, we have all our buttons replaced with the 3 buttons. And I wasn't wrong about the cursor. If you can see the cursor, it kind of reminds you of the Windows XP cursor. Not something I like. So I personally don't prefer that. So it doesn't matter. I'm also gonna show you how we can change that. So if this cursor kind of scares you because it's ugly, then worry not. But now I'm gonna show you day if you're into that light theme aesthetics. Click on patch and apply. And you can see it kind of makes everything light mode. Personally, for me as a desktop user, this really kills my eyes. So I'm not really a fan of day. And finally, I'll show you dark mode. This is pretty much dark mode. It's pretty much night mode, but some of the custom widgets are white instead. See, originally I was using dark mode, but I realized the contrast kind of just doesn't really make sense, and it's kind of stupid in my opinion. So I like night because if it makes the headers black, it should also make the in-depth text as well. So I'm going to go back to night and we can move on from there. The next thing that we want to do, well, I probably said it earlier, but now we're going to change the cursor and make it look more appealing to the eye. So what you want to do now is just go to your start and just type in, or hit the Windows key and type mouse. Just type that for now. By default, you might get mouse settings, but for me, I'm getting this original, or OG as some of you guys call it, control panel window. I've been experimenting with this lately, so obviously due to the power of artificial intelligence, it's going to recommend me this. But you just want to make sure that you're clicking on this, not this. So hit open. And as you can see with our theme, it looks much more appealing. So you want to go to your pointers. And as you can see, it's claiming to be Windows default. Whatever. So you just want to go to normal select, and you want to head over, and just click on browse. So this is the Win32 cursors catalog, but no, we don't want to look here. Instead, we just want to click on this, head over to downloads, and folder, go to patron theme, go to the theme, and you see we have our designated cursors folder. Just click into that, and you see we have all our Mac-like cursors, because after all, that's what we're going for. A Mac-like yet aesthetic desktop set. So with normal select, I guess you can kind of already tell based on the previews. So for normal, it'd just be this arrow.cursor. Hit open, and it'll switch that. Well, so pretty much from all these previews, you can probably assume what each is supposed to do based on the to help whatever it says, plus the corresponding icon. So I'll be right back and I'll show you what I have, and I'll show you the correct correspondence if you missed any. If you weren't able to find the correct cursor, I'm just going to show you real quick what it's supposed to look like. So as you can see, I'll scroll through these, and if you think I'm personally going too fast, then you can always pause the video and you can just speed it or slow it down to a year recording. So there, pretty straightforward. So now what you just want to do is hit apply, and boom, you see our cursor look Mac-y, I guess. Yeah, so whatever. So for the most part, we have our cursor looking the way that we want it to, but we're not even close to being finished yet. Next up, I'm going to show you how you can set up your wallpaper. Alright guys, in order to change the background, if we go back to our folder that we extracted, you see that we have this JPEG file. Well, guess what? I did some scouring of the internet, did some color correction, and bam, we get this really cool background. But to apply it, since if you don't have a licensed copy of Windows like me, just exit out, right click, and click on set as desktop background, and soon you can see it changes. And on my display, you probably can't tell it because of the OBS recording, but it looks really nice. So I guess this can be a cool thing to show off, but we're going to make it even better. Remember those Rainmeter skins that we imported? Guess what? We are going to implement them, and boy, they are going to look good. So what you're going to want to do now is click on these three dots. Well, if without the applied, it's going to be an arrow, I guess. But here with this texture, it's three dots. So, and you'll see this Rainmeter logo. Just click into that, and you'll see this laid out. We can start off with Lumero and the date. So you click on load, and you can see it gives us this pretty cool layout. So for this video, according to the structure that I had previously planned, we're going to put it in the top right corner. But after all, this is for you guys, and you can do this in any intended way of your choice. Next up, we're going to use the time and drag this right here to be somewhat in line, kind of giving it a minimalist look. Then we want the weather forecast. Center this over here, and you can see it's giving me what it feels like, what the actual temperature is, and what it is. And you can guarantee this is reliable because it is using Yahoo Weather, which uses, well, yeah, good weather. So I guess that's a good API. So you know this is trusted. So far it's looking pretty good. But this one's gonna really strike you. Go over to taskbar X and now hit load. Wow. All the icons just miraculously move to the center, and the taskbar is transparent. But there is one thing cluttering us. This search tool, while helpful, it kind of kills away the aesthetics. So for this video, we're just going to right click on the taskbar, hide the search, hide Cortana because I don't think anyone actually uses her, and the task view button. Okay, so just to let you guys know, if you ever want to use start search, what you can do is just pretty much, just pretty much hit the Windows key button and start typing. And then you can see a dialog comes up where you can continue typing. If in any way you want Cortana, you can just do Windows Shift C and it'll bring up her. If you want that task view, which can be a godsend for some people, you can just do Windows key tab, and as you can see, we have our task view. So you can sacrifice all the cluttered buttons without actually sacrificing them. So that's pretty cool. And to top it off, we are going to top it off with our visualizer. This can be kind of hard to grip out, so you just want to make sure that your mouse is perfectly aligned, and just drag this down here. Wow, it looks good, and yeah, I bet you like it too. So this is pretty cool, and you can always add more and more skins. You can always download them off the internet. I don't even know why that disappeared. Let's see. Load. Nothing. Let's see. Well, for me, it just randomly disappeared. If it does for you, no problem. It's fine. Sometimes, I guess there's like a glitch with this visualizer. If you want, you can always just search up a new visualizer. Like one that I used previously in the past was known as the Lano visualizer. Like for instance, you can just look up visualizer Rainmeter skin, and you'll get loads of options. But just to simplify the process of this video, boom, you have your really cool desktop. To think, we started from a bland, icky Windows layout to this beautiful desktop. So that's pretty cool, and now we'll head off to the outro. Congrats! You now have this really cool desktop skin layout on your very own PC. If you liked the video and you want to see more of these tech mods, don't be afraid to hit that like button and consider subscribing. It helps out the YouTube algorithm so more people can enjoy these tech mods just like you. Before you click out of this video, I want you to tell me what was your favorite part of this tech mod. Was it the Rainmeter skinning with these layouts? Or the Mac-like cursor and button layout? Did you add some skins of your own via the internet? Let me know in the comments. So, thank you guys for tuning in for the whole video, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye guys!